they're the largest private investor in travel and leisure in the world. So
in the portfolio right now, the active investments are so solid.
Amazing.
So you have
25 billion
yeah.
Under management,
yeah.
and over 200 companies that we work with or brands. So
incredible.
Yeah, it's really kind of my dream. Talk about manifestation. I don't know how I ended up, but yeah, it's amazing.
Welcome to the Luxury Travel Innovators podcast. I'm your host, Adam Deflorian, founder and CEO of ACDS. Let's take off. Today, I'm joined by Lilley, executive in residence at KSL Capital Partners. May, thank you so much for coming to Luxury Travel Innovators.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to see your studio finally.
No, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background, starting in Australia and what brought you to the US.
Yeah, so grew up in Melbourne, Australia, and went to the University of Melbourne, followed my siblings. We kind of have all had a mix of business and humanities, I would say, interests, and followed their path. Did a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of Melbourne. All I knew was I wanted to do a psychology major. I was super interested in just people and understanding motivating factors, but then also the business application. So I did a wide gamut of subjects from business statistics to criminal law to Renaissance art history, which actually then was great for travel. I, went and saw the Sistine Chapel and actually had a position on whether they should have restored it or not. And so that kind of combined education, I'd say, has really kind of helped create my career. And then my friends rallied together. I grew up skiing in Australia. We had a house at Mount Hotham outside of Melbourne. And they said, let's do a ski season out there. And I was pretty young when I finished, so I was 20. So I just got a student visa and reached out to Vail, where I'd grown up skiing.
Yeah.
And asked for a job instructing 3 to 6 year olds. And that was my first introduction to the US when I was 20.
How was teaching 3 to 6 year olds?
It was awesome. I loved it. I love young kids. I think it's the funniest. I was like, I definitely don't want to teach 7 to 12 year olds. I kind of skipped that part. 3 to 6 is charming. They're funny. They're resilient. They learn super fast. But I quickly worked out that it was much more lucrative teaching adult private lessons. So
you have some good stories. You had some impressive.
I did. It was so I don't know how it worked out, but I ended up getting into as an instructor for what was called the Prima program, which was invite only for the highest spending clients at Vail and Beaver Creek.
Okay.
Actually, now I do kind of know why it was too, because I was flexible in the sense that a lot of the old school instructors didn't want to ski with kids. They're sort of like can't do kids, but I could ski with everyone, the whole family.
Got it.
So I taught, Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s kids, Sylvester Stallone's kids, Luke Wilson and his producer brother Andrew, and then some really interesting people in business. So YPO groups, head of McKinsey in Mexico, the Kersners from Kersner International, pioneers in hedge funds and, capital in New York. So,
colorful, big group.
It was colorful. It was all over the place. But again, really satisfied a lot of what I'm interested in, which is both travel and then just big minds and business.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And then how did you transition from that into corporate at Vail?
Yeah. So I lived quite a dichotomous lifestyle for several years, actually. I was bouncing between doing that as a private ski instructor, and I was like 80% booked out ahead of the season. A lot of those clients would book me for 1 month at a time, which was amazing. And then I was working in advertising in Australia. So my brother owned advertising agencies. And so, obviously I looked up to him. He's 9 years older than me, now runs McCann Australia, New Zealand, and has his own boutique brands. So I worked there, and then I moved on to another agency, was a suit or account manager on the Kmart Australia and New Zealand account, which just about killed me. Sucked the life out of me. And I remember sitting with a colleague and I was super stressed because there was a laugh and learn puppy that was stuck in customs in Hong Kong. And we had a TV shoot on Monday and I was like, losing it. And he's like, Dal, we're slinging 2-for-1 towel packs. This is not worth the stress. And that was a pivotal moment for me. I'm like, I'm not passionate about this. So I was again doing the, back and forth with Vale and decided I, loved it and wanted to, stay full-time year round there.
Okay.
And somewhat manifested, it felt like it at the time, actually a position doing international PR for Vale Resorts. I started there first. And that was amazing. I was sort of like, I remember laughing with my friends saying, leading this crazy life, saying there must be a way where I can share my passion for Vale, my love for skiing, talk to smart people, travel the world, have them pay for it. And
that was your manifest.
That was my manifest. And this is before I even knew that there was an international department at Vale Resorts, right? Like my scope and view of the business was quite small at that point. And sure enough, then a job came up in international PR. So that's what I did for 9 years. I headed up their global communications, which was amazing, managing PR agencies around the world and working with media. And then we acquired Perisher, Vale Resorts' first international acquisition. So this was even before Whistler Blackcomb. And that's the biggest ski resort in Australia. And so the CMO at the time, Kirsten Lynch, said, we've created a new role, international destination marketing. You need to build it out, basically, work out what it is. and
you're Australian. So.
Yeah, you're Australian, so that works. You have to, kind of work with the management team and work on the acquisition announcement, work on the integration, develop a new pass product targeted to an Australian audience, which later became the Epic Australia Pass. Work out seasonality, make sure you're working through arbitrage. It doesn't cannibalize the Epic Pass. We're not sure how you need to work that out.
How big was your team?
It was me.
Just you.
It was me. And then I worked with, they had obviously a strong management team in Perisher. So I really worked with them. So I was working silly hours. But but it was super fun. It was a great challenge. And, then that kind of developed what has been employed in the ski industry more broadly around this kind of concept of whether it's partnering or acquisitions internationally or, rural resorts or urban resorts, and kind of finding these big populations of skiers and then creating a value proposition to then move them around the portfolio. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
So you enjoyed it?
Loved it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's funny, your path's similar. Like when I started AZDS, it was the same idea. It was like, well, I could do digital solutions and marketing for like Charmin or Bounty paper towels, or I could do it for La Serra-Noose and Montage and Electric Collection.
And actually get to visit them and experience them and work with smart people. Yeah, totally. Yeah. It became very clear. People always say to me, your life is amazing, whether it's my personal travel, my professional travel, the jobs that I've had. I'm like, no. It's very much by design.
Yeah.
You can do it too.
It wasn't luck.
No.
It was not manifest, I guess. But
there is some manifestation. Putting it out there. Positive energy never hurts.
Cool. So from Vale, then you made your way, in essence, to KSL, right? Through Canvas?
Yeah. So, it's funny. My experience when I was at Vale Resorts, KSL was kind of, the name behind Icon Pass. That's really was my exposure to them at the time. And then I was headhunted. I'd been at Vale for over a decade in a corporate capacity. And, we'd grown so fast. It was so interesting. I never thought I was going to be a lifer anywhere, but it was just, kept me engaged because there was so much news.
Yeah.
But a headhunter reached out to me and piqued my interest with this brand called Under Canvas, which I had never heard before. And they said, you'd be the first marketer. It's founder, owner, run.
Those aren't scary things to hear.
You would
sign it up.
Yeah. But they're like, you would build the team out. We have very ambitious plans to scale and grow. We have 5 locations. it's glamping. I'm like, glamping, I can get behind. I'm not, in full transparency, camping is not my thing, but I love being in the outdoors.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious about this. They had, 50,000 followers on Instagram, which was kind of a really fun size where I thought I can actually really make some great impact here. So I made the leap. And the first couple of months, my head was spinning. I was like, whoa, and sort of no infrastructure. I was so used to having our own in-house analytics and agency support. And I really had to build it from scratch. But then, much to my surprise and delight, literally 3 months in to the role, KSL acquired us.
So, so this was, I didn't realize it was before, you joined before KSL.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom.
Oh, yeah.
How many camps?
I opened the fifth.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, I was brought in by the owner-founder, which was intriguing to me too, because, she was an impressive woman. And then KSL came in, but I was like, this is perfect, because it was a lot more of the institutional, stuff that I was used to.
Yeah.
And process and quarterly board meetings and accountability, but importantly to real investment.
Yeah.
To then be able to, make it the amazing place it is now. So that was very cool. So during my tenure there, we sort of grew. Yeah, we started at 50,000 on Instagram, just eclipsed 400,000.
Wow.
Multiply the revenue X-fold. We're now at about to open Undercover Yosemite, and that's the 15th camp. 3 brands, launched the Illume brand, which we partnered with you on, which was amazing. Really did some cool stuff. So KSL, then, we started talking, and I had been talking to them about, what's new, and they were doing such amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And so Kevin Neer, the head of Strat Ops, and I started talking, and it was like, maybe we bring you into this executive in residence role, and then you can kind of share everything you've learned and then become a touch point across all our commercial teams.
Yeah.
And then who knows, from then. So it's super fun. So now I get to work across enterprise initiatives as well as fill in talent gaps if there's space between commercial leaders. So I did a stint as interim CCO for Seneva last year, which I loved. Manage a team across Asia. And then also, just share best practices, find great vendors like yourself that we partner with and can really kind of build. And then there's so many efficiencies as you can imagine within KSL. And, they're the largest private investor in travel and leisure in the world. So
in the portfolio right now, the active investments are so solid.
Amazing.
So you have
25 billion under management
and
over 200 companies that we work with or brands. So
incredible.
Yeah, it's really kind of my dream. Talk about manifestation. I don't know how I ended up, but it's amazing, and it's very
theme of this podcast.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, just do it.
I did actually listen to a podcast about manifestation, which was amazing. But it's great being on the strategic operating team, and it's a differentiator for KSL in general that we have this amazing team. My colleagues, I learn from every day. They've come from a combination of operating backgrounds and finance and management consulting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great, and it's nice being in a firm that really only invests in travel and leisure because it's just very pointed, and we're the best at what we do.
Well, and it's such a different industry. Like we talked about earlier, I'm going to say it's the best because I think it is.
It is the best.
But at the end of the day, it's also just the way distribution happens, the way that connectivity works, the way that travel functions in general is just so different than than everything else, CPG, automotive, etc. So,
and I was listening to your podcast actually with Erin Florio, who I love.
She's great.
And it's so true. The people you meet in travel. And I think, again, this is coming from Australia. It's a rite of passage. Everyone leaves school and then they just flee.
Yeah.
Fly the coop and travel far and wide and backpack and end up sleeping on beaches and all the things. And I think it's so important. I always say it to my friends with kids. I'm like, kick them out, like get them out there. It's, resilience building.
Yeah.
It's eye-opening. It's, makes you a better, not only table conversationalist at dinner parties, but just open to how other people live. and it's really important for me as well. It's being in the outdoors, but
yeah. Well, with Under Canvas, you can do that and have run
immersion in nature.
exactly.
Yeah.
Looking across the portfolio today at KSL, what are some of the investments that you're most excited about, that you just are thrilled about?
Well, hot off the press, Beckons.
Yeah.
And
Very
again,
exciting.
I know you had Michael Crawford in here a
Yep.
couple of months back as well, and so he can finally share more, he intimated. But new brand, Beckons.
So exciting. What an epic portfolio. It's funny, my whole team and working on that is like, so we need to go check it out.
Oh.
Need to immerse. When can we?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's another weird 1 degree moment too. Silky Oaks in the Daintree rainforest, I grew up going to as a kid. I mean, they have just the most epic destination, Nile locations and growing. Their pipeline is, I mean, just wait for what those guys are going to roll out. And I think that's what's exciting. So Beckons brought together 2 preeminent experiential travel brands in Tierra and Bailey Lodges, both family kind of owned and founded, really amazing luxury experiences across Chile, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. And yeah, I can't wait to go to all. I mean, I went to Tierra Atacama and it's just amazing. I have to go to Patagonia now too. But what's cool as well is what they're building is they're so unique and they're small, it's like average 25 keys.
Yeah.
So they're very intimate. The staff are amazing. It's all inclusive. So you literally, I mean, the people that go there too are fast paced, executive types, and you just go there and leave all your stress behind and, they've meal plans. They can curate things specially for you. You go in the morning and speak to someone, and depending on how you're feeling or how you're rested, then they work out what adventure you're going to go on that day. It's all included. So it's like, you just don't have to think about anything. And it's just these extraordinary places from Uluru to, Daintree rainforest.
I'm gonna take my kids. See, that's the problem with our business. Is I got to take the kids to just the best places, so they're spoiled beyond all. I mean, they're ruined.
Ruined.
Ruined is the word.
I say that about my nieces too. I'm like, oh my, you're never gonna backpack hikes. They've just done it too well now. They're too far gone.
Yeah. No, and Michael was talking about it, and I totally agree with him. My good friend Chris Amway, the CMO of Montage, it's funny. He's like, we go fishing a fair amount, and we both love to fly fish, and so we go to these incredible lodges, right? Whether they be in Alaska or anywhere in Colorado, etc. And the lodges, it's just, there's something about it. You could be at the best possible 5-star service at the Ritz in Paris or at Cheval Blanc in Paris, and there's something about just sitting in the room with the other 35 lodge guests at dinner.
Yeah,
everybody's talking about what they did that day, and then they're working on itineraries for the next day. The food's exquisite but perfect. It's not stuffy, it's just perfect, right? And like the whole experience, there's something so special about it.
So special.
And it's like it's totally taking off because people the secret's out.
Yeah, well, totally. I used to kind of poo-poo the all-inclusive with it. It just sort of sounded a bit naff.
Yeah.
But I'm all about it now. I was like at one of our CMH lodges at the start of the year, and it's cool because it's super international. It's like you're sitting next to people from all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, by the end of the week, you're exchanging numbers.
That's
and you're like, and with the guides also, you're sitting and eating with them. And I know Michael spoke about that too, how they'll get such extraordinary letters from guests after the stay, just about how moved they were with, the people they met and particularly the staff.
Yeah, the staff.
I had the same experience at, another one again, because I worked on it, but Seneva is amazing as well. That brand is really going to fly. And the team that we've built there is so awesome. We recruited some really special talent from Mandarin Oriental, and
amazing.
Watch that space too. They're doing us some amazing.
You've had a rough 12 months. Maldives. I feel bad. I'm worried about you.
As you should. I know. Yeah, I definitely lean into the European-based brands too, Beaumier and Sereno, and
because you were there recently too, right?
Last summer. I was at Sereno on Lake Como. That is amazing. Yeah, and that's a great team there too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on it, right? Which is experiential travel, small, etc. What trends are currently shaping the luxury, travel market right now? Would you say, besides just small and experiential?
Yeah, there are a few that come to mind. again, it might sound a bit pedestrian or like it's been done before, but wellness is taking on a new definition. So it's no longer wellness as an add-on or, it's throwing in the ancillary revenue pile, but it's really a core pillar. And I mean, I think about even now with peptides and where it can go, it's amazing. And just people will book and spend a lot of money on, actually not drinking alcohol and having a curated menu and really thinking end to end. We actually just launched as well at Illume Moab. You could have gone and check it out. A massage cave that it's incredible. So it's
in the rock.
Yeah, it's one of the original settlers caves.
Wow.
And so it's beautiful. And so the light in there, and it's a perfectly ambient, I think it's like 68 degrees year round, which the settlers worked out, which is why they had their caves in there as they were kind of managing their sheep and whatnot in Utah. But so, yeah, just really interesting, those kind of experiential moments that are differentiating. I think this whole wellness trend is not going away. Obviously, the evolution of AI search and agents not going away. I think it will be interesting to see how that's embraced by luxury or not.
Yeah.
There's still, because again, almost a contradiction, but hyper-personalization is also really important. So like, yes, ChatGPT kind of is still learning who you are, but it's funny, like even if I do a chat, I've got a string. I have an enterprise ChatGPT account. It's different from my personal, but it was a bit crossed over there for a minute. And so it's confused, still working out who I am. It's still trying to work out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, that's work. Like keep that separate. Or I've already been there. Don't just tell me I need to go to these places because I work for them.
Yeah.
So I'm still sort of training it. But transformational travel, again, if I think about an Under Canvas or a Soneva, where, Soneva, a big part of it too is that they recycle glass on some of the islands and they're doing coral restoration. They have a marine biologist who's there. And there's this keen interest, I think. I mean, look at the ski season, if nothing else.
Yeah. It wasn't good here.
No, it wasn't good. I think that
if we sum it up with that, very
like
simply
how can we, give back and help? I think and it started with like Habitat for Humanity, right? But I think we're going to see more of that. Trains and ships and yachts seem to be popping off.
Yeah, Four Seasons yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm all about it.
Yeah,
I would happily cruise on that Amman yacht.
Yeah, I think the Amman yacht would be great.
Yeah. So, and then I think the last one that I was inspired by Colin Nagy, who's a travel contributor at Skift, is this contrarian view on locations. So like Palau or, like the less explored.
Yeah.
I think, people are kind of done with the usual go-tos, and it's like, where can we really be challenged? Like, I think getting in the mindset, particularly of the ultra high net worth, it's like you're working with really powerful, very smart people. And I think you want it when you're on vacation too. It's like, tell me something I didn't already know.
Totally.
And so, I think that is interesting too. That's why as well that something like a platform like Beckons is so powerful, because it's the immersion in culture as well. So it's like, you can meet with an Indigenous community while you're there and learn something about Uluru that you may not have known, or it's kind of the sky's the limit. I remember going to Silky Oaks as a kid and being with an Indigenous family and making damper and, cooking it and it was so, as a kid, like that was really special for me.
Yeah. I like, one of the memories I have, right, is in Puglia with my mini, David.
Yeah. Yes, your mini.
Yeah. He's my mini.
Literally.
And he only wears Luxury Travel Innovators. Like he literally
he's your greatest ambassador.
Oh, he is. He only walks around with the LTI polo. That's his, and it's long sleeve. Brenna knows because we had to make boxes of them for him, and he wears it. That's all he wears. LTI, walks around. But he was hand making pasta in Puglia, with an Italian that barely spoke any English, and watching them interact. And then my daughter Emily, the same. It's like, it's really amazing, right? It's like that type of experience is the type of experience that people are seeking, right?
Yeah,
and that becomes a core mem for sure.
because you feel, it evokes feeling. It's not just cookie cutter. We're all moving so fast, and it's like people want to feel things.
I totally agree. Too fast. What are outside of travel? What are some of your favorite brands in luxury today? Fashion, automotive, etc. And why do they inspire you?
Hermes is like the GOAT,
Mm-hmm.
right? I just what they do as a marketer in terms of creating a sense of scarcity,
Mm-hmm.
the fact that I think it's like 5th generation family.
Yeah, still.
So they've, really kept it very authentic and in the family. Their pricing power, again, as a commercial leader is astonishing.
It's remarkable.
Just because they will not discount, and I'm still like that too. I'm like, no, protect the brand, know what you're worth, because that's a nod to your consumers.
Mm-hmm.
If you stand by your pricing positioning. And beautiful, the hand stitching. I don't know if you've listened to the podcast Acquired.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 6 hours, but and I listened to it driving to and from the mountains. But
that's just one way, with the traffic on 70.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't even need to go back.
Gosh, sorry. Well, but yeah, that podcast is epic.
It is,
and it talks, kind of about the whole history.
It's rolling episode too.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, my favorite is Costco.
Costco, yeah, of course.
That's extraordinary too. Yeah, legendary. I could go on and on. But
they were selling Birkins at Costco in Asia, Birkins and Kelly's, and in Shenzhen, right outside Hong Kong. This was relatively recent.
Yeah, I know. I did read about that. I'm like, don't ruin my vision. Yeah. But I think that they
are the GOAT, and the way that they're able to do it with scarcity, incredible pricing power, like you mentioned, a bit of snobbiness, and maybe more than a bit. But yet, people just eat it up.
But that's what makes it cool. Yeah, I love it. I'm like, be more, French. Really lean into it, because that's what makes it cool. I love Montclair as well, in the same way.
Yeah.
And, I think, it's like, what makes you pay $3,000 for this jacket versus that one? Well, somehow, and that's when a good brand, I actually feel cooler and more chic when I put my Montclair jacket on. And even, I don't know if you just saw their recent launch in Aspen.
I did, yeah.
Oh, it was just, amazing. Yeah. They swept people off on snowmobiles, didn't tell them where they were going, lit up a mogul run, and then, popped models up on the bumps. I was just...
But that is what they did.
The aspen trees. I'm like, this is just a dream. I mean, it literally looks like a dream.
But that's the power of brand. That's the power of how you make somebody feel is far more important than what you make.
For sure.
Just like what you just said. Courchevel, right? Montclair on every one of the gondolas. It's like they position their brand, their mark, everywhere they need to be, whether that's Aspen, Courchevel, St. Moritz, and they have the right people wearing the right stuff.
Yeah.
And people are inspired by it. They look at it and they just want to be that person. They want to have that experience. They want to be in that moment.
Yeah.
And if you do it well and not kitschy, like Montclair, like Hermes, etc., it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I agree. Like Hermes, the way that they've stayed so relevant is that they're like, no, we're not for everyone. No. That's they're quite selective. And to your point, could be a little off-putting to some, but that's what's made them endure for so long.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not everything to everyone, and you got to kind of work for it.
Yeah, totally. And their exclusivity around it, of how hard it is to get to pay them 15 plus thousand euros.
People are trying to throw money out.
Yeah, and you can't even do it. They're lucky. They play off of emotion, and I'm sure on the backside, right, it's female emotion, and therefore it's easier. A lot of men, we just get mad. So angry. Like, are you kidding me? I can't pay you for that.
Yeah, but that feeling too when you buy something good is like, oh, that's real. Yeah, it's like a dopamine hit. All women know that.
Speaking of which, what do you think about influencer marketing, and which influencers do you think are most impressive in the luxury space? I
was thinking about this just last week, actually. I think that, because I spend so much time thinking about AI search and this new world of GEO, and it's a little bit of a paradox for marketers, but I actually think that influencers are more important than ever before, because if I think about the work that that I do with our portfolio companies, think about in AI search. So it's gone from like SEO and traditional search in terms of relevance to GEO's trust. kind of that's kind of the 101. Well, and the trust, they're sourcing TripAdvisor, in terms of travel at least, TripAdvisor, Google reviews, and it's like quality and quantity. So trust they're getting from consistent repetition, which also means scale. So as a brand marketer, it's tough because it's like, oh my gosh, how do we ramp that quickly? And so I like little micro influencers because they're not going to get picked up by, the kind of, our LLM algorithms that are looking for scale. So inevitably in search results, you're going to get the ones that are, yes, enduring, years old, have a ton of reviews and high reviews. Like it still is quality, but it's the little, I prefer like little boutique, lesser known, so that doesn't work for me as much. It's the influencers, particularly at the micro level, who I think are, finding the next, again, contrarian view on where to go.
Not the $1 million a post ones.
No, not the $1 million a post ones. But I do. So in terms of who I like though, like Revolve, they were the OG in influencer marketing. I mean, it's just textbook, right? They didn't spend any money on paid media. It was all influencer. And there's some amazing women that have come out of that. We actually hosted at Under Canvas years ago, at Under Canvas Grand Canyon, Revolve around the world. And it was it was during COVID. It was their first non-traditional. So we had like the real OGs, Sincerely Jules and Camila Coelho, like they were awesome. And so I think we only had 4 of them. And Camila I loved, and her husband, they're Brazilian. So firstly, I just love Brazilians.
Yeah.
They're chic. They're just born chic. And they know, what's good.
Yeah.
And they've got the cutest little boy. And so and she's got more than 10 million followers now, but she stayed very kind of true to herself. And she's at all the fashion weeks and everything. So I just love following her. Christine Centenera is the editor of Vogue Australia.
Yeah.
So I love following her because she's just, again, chic, knows what's up, goes to amazing places. She's kind of private, she's just cool. I worked with her. We did a shoot on Vale Mountain years ago for Vogue Australia. And yeah, she's just a cool girl. So, and then Shay Marie, she has the brand Same swimwear. She's always just doing cool stuff. So she's not a big influencer by any means, but yeah, I like the kind of, smaller ones that are a little edgy.
Especially in luxury, that makes the most sense.
Yeah,
it seems
totally.
to work better,
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you're not looking necessarily for massive scale because you don't need that. Like you look at a Beckon, you have 25 keys, 30 keys, 12
Yeah, exactly.
keys.
Not many people, and Michael spoke about that with you. I know when you're in the podcast, he's like, we're not trying to boil the ocean here. You actually don't need that many people to come.
No.
It's a problem if you do, so.
Yeah, totally.
Like my favorite hotel in the world, Forestis in the Dolomites. I've spoken to you about it before, but I'm like, I'm torn. I don't want people to know about it. I don't want it to really pop off, but yeah, I'm like, no influencers.
Family owned still.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't think they'll ever sell. I even asked them.
Northern Italians.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to, influencers we talked about, right? So I guess that's people. That's not AI generated, generative influencers. But let's talk AI for a minute. We won't beat a dead horse. It's interesting, right? So I talked a little bit with Michael about this, and I talk about it, AI with every guest. But there's a couple ways to look at it, right? You have using AI to find things, which is I'm going to say it's the older generation that's replacing Google, right? So they're just like typing their questions in the same way that Google's been answering their questions for the last 10 plus years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so from a industry perspective, we have to be aware of that though, because those people are big spenders, right? Those, a lot of the times, boomers plus, right, are our audience of who are booking. So we need to make sure that we're optimized for that. So you touched on that. That's one way to use it. Then there's the operational pieces around AI, right? So how are you actually leveraging AI to provide a better guest experience, right? And then there's the tooling. So, this is the scary part. I mean, you look at the Adobe, not to call them out specifically, because every large tech org is having this moment now where they are beating earnings and yet their stock is falling dramatically. Like you look at the stock chart and you're like, holy cow. And you wonder why. And it's like, well, because what they have, right? I can use whether it's Claude Code or another AI solution, and I can build their platform in 9.5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's scary. It's scary for them in tech. But what I find very interesting in travel, bringing that whole piece back to travel, is how do we inspire the leaders in all of the travel organizations to get creative, to create platforms that will deliver a better experience and that trial and error of it, right? Because it's too many of our clients, we hear like every AI solution and tool is blocked on their corporate network.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's scary. It's like you can just go and hide in the cave, right? And that cave is not, you're not going to.
And then when you come out and you're like, where's everyone?
Holy cow. Yeah. Yeah. Like, or you can actually embrace what we're living in right now, which is an incredible time. We're just living through, I think, one of the, and it's not that we haven't lived through incredible times, right? The internet was an incredible thing.
Yes.
The iPhone, thank God for Steve Jobs. That was incredible. That was the life-changing. And this is another life-changing moment. And from a business perspective, it's so funny to watch travel, how everybody is so scared of what it's going to do. And yet it's actually, they shouldn't be scared of it. They should be embracing the change and how to use it. And so I mean, that's what we're trying to do with our customers, but also internally here of figuring out solutions to be ahead of that curve and not go run into the cave and then come out and be like, where'd everybody go?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's inspiring. I think it'll be so interesting for you to see, like, with all of these portfolio companies, how can they come to the table with interesting AI solutions that then will make for a better guest experience, right? Because there's so many ways to do that. So
many ways.
You know?
Well, and I think that's I know, I've kind of, again, embraced. I think it's exciting. I have moments of overwhelm though, because particularly in my role, you can imagine I get hit up by companies all day, every day.
Yeah.
Pushing, and I'm trying to understand what's different between one and the other. And I've got one AI company who's pushing something and showing me, the amazing job they did to mitigate attrition in healthcare. And I'm like, make this make sense for me. Like, I work in travel and leisure. So show me how you can apply your technology. Otherwise, they're going to move on, So it's like, there's so much at the moment. And I think, again, it's moving very quickly. And some of these little AI companies will fail. So it's like, that's my only concern. It's like, you've got to partner with people who you sort of trust. But what we're doing at KSL, which I'm really enjoying too, is we have a bi-monthly call with the commercial leaders that I lead. And it's a combination of me kind of owning, and because they're busy in their day, it's like
they're in the weeds.
Yeah. And a lot of the operating, teams are like, I'm like, you now want us to become experts in AI, which it's like, no, actually quite the contrary. Like, keep doing what you're doing. But think about, is there a different way to do it? So we've kind of found a good balance now where in these bi-monthly meetings with these commercial leaders, I will bring together, okay, what's happened in the last 2 months that you've not, maybe, and I'm watching keenly how the different LLMs are looking to monetize search, for example, because I'm like, okay, guys, we're on, you talk to and I'm like, push your SEO agency on this, make sure you're incorporating GEO KPIs and make sure that now you need to like put some money away as you're budgeting because there will be something that you're going to want to test and learn against, so just making sure that they feel supported and are ahead of the curve. And then the other part of this bi-monthly meeting is commercial leaders will say, okay, I'm testing this platform, that here's the business issue that we're facing. And so I've identified this platform. So I'm going to test and learn and come back with findings. So we've got our call, actually it's this week on Thursday.
Nice.
And so we've got 4 different portcos presenting for 10 minutes each on test and learn, the insights from 4 different platforms that they're working on, so that all the commercial and then I can, people are like, wow, I could use that too. I could use that. Then I go in swinging and say, okay, well, I'm going to go in and say, we've got 4 companies who will come to you. Like, we want you to be a preferred partner.
Yeah.
And then, we actually can create partnerships with the right platforms and do it strategically, which again is part of the power of our bigger platform in only having, travel and leisure assets, because we're finding efficiencies.
Guided. It's like you've put up the rails. Like you're looking for solutions that are applicable to travel. You don't have to go find like across the board things.
Yeah.
That's super smart. And I think the other thing that's interesting is you mentioned a lot of AI will fail. Oh, I think a lot of the big ones will too. The reason I say that, right? I know one that's not that fail, which is Google. And I know a lot of people are, it's funny, but the truth is Gemini is getting better and better by the day. And I know a lot of people say, OpenAI did come out of the gate better than everybody else. Nobody's saying that didn't happen. And Anthropic's incredible too, right? With Claude, but they don't have infrastructure. Google has infrastructure, right? They can actually, OpenAI has to leverage, and so does Anthropic, and so does every other solution, except for Microsoft too. But Microsoft, it was so funny, right? They're like, wait a minute, we're a bit behind here, so we just partner with OpenAI. Right. So that's what most recently happened. You were kind of like, oh gosh, that's interesting. But then the one that I keep coming back to is Google, because it's like they have the servers and the infrastructure that nobody else has. Plus, it's Google. Think about the past history that they have in terms of what they know about all of us.
Oh, I know.
It's powerful.
It's wild. I mean, actually, there is one technology that I was talking to someone about last week that is interesting to me, which is because of the virtue of tokenization. And so you can, we're all being anonymously tracked online, but it's not tied back to us, right? At the highest level.
Yeah.
So, they kind of pitched me, this how to mitigate attrition. So we have some health clubs, for example, and golf clubs. Mm-hmm. And so it's membership based. And so they can say, we can see people who may be part of your membership pool who, and example of the gym membership, they might be a member, but then we can see that they're Googling for a different gym or to find a personal trainer. And so then we can intervene with a CRM campaign. Because when you're like, wow, that's weird. It's like the retargeting of like, are they in my brain?
Yeah, but my phone is listening to me as the comment.
I mean, better. It's like everyone knows that now, that retargeting. But like this, that's interesting too. It's just like your online search behavior around, potentially competitors or knowing, when there's an attrition risk.
Totally.
And intervening with automation. It's like, marketing is.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
It's a whole nother level.
What's the biggest challenge you think we're going to have in travel next 5-10 years? And that's a long time. Let's stick to 5. 10's too long.
No, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 10.
Yeah, maybe 3 to 5.
It's
our biggest uphill challenge.
I think it's technology, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think disconnecting, and that's what I loved again about Under Canvas, and I think that maybe we see this come back full circle where we're so, again, and it's if the LLMs get smart enough around hyper personalization, it's weird. Like when you're just constantly being like, I actually just want to escape, and maybe I'm not the person you think I am. Maybe I want to be something else.
Yeah.
And just sit on an island and read a book and not, I don't know. I just feel like, again, coming back to the first person. So in luxury, it's super important. Bots will never be able to replicate that human connection.
Yeah.
Or the feeling of like being outside and skiing on a powder day and being, just so cold, and then coming in inside and feeling cozy and having an amazing meal. Like those moments of connection will eclipse everything else in terms of, everything, all technology coming at us so fast. So
totally makes sense. And it's coming. Yeah. Like you said, the speed is challenging and frightening.
Yeah. And I think, losing that, just the personal touch, I think in terms of, particularly for luxury, I think it's really important. And so then how do you, with inflation and rising housing prices and everything, how do you keep really engaged talent?
Yeah.
Because think about it. It's like, we don't talk about how important people are in hotels and properties. Like they're the ones that create the moments.
Yeah.
And I recently stayed in a luxury hotel in Aspen, and gosh, it was a bad experience just because the staff were off. I think they had a lot of people leave because of the snow conditions. Mm-hmm. And so there were, these poor people who are new and trying to work it out, but it makes all the difference.
Oh, 100%. They're line.
Yeah.
That's who, it makes you feel. Like we said, it's how you feel. It's not just the product. The product should be good in luxury. That's right. That's the bottom. That's everybody has that. That's table stakes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
right. My rapid fire questions to close us out, and I'm most excited for your answers on this because you live a glamorous lifestyle. So this is going to be fun.
I don't know.
Say, what personal travel are you most excited about next?
I want to get up to Clayquot
Okay.
in Vancouver Island. So that's one of the Beckons
Beckons.
properties. It just looks stunning. I mean, Canada is amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the end of the earth. They've also, Beckons has some interesting properties in their pipeline that obviously haven't been announced yet, but they've got some crackers coming out. So I'm like, honestly, anything, I'm like, the deal team, like whatever you've got coming at me, like hit me. Like there's this
available.
Yeah, we're the best team finding the best properties in the world. So yeah, I think
That's amazing.
that's kind of an obvious one. And then just I go to Europe every summer.
Yeah.
So
where this summer? Or do you go back to
I mean, I keep going back to the Dolomites. Yeah. So Forestis and then honestly anywhere else. I think my family's going to be in the Greek islands. I'll probably meet up with them there.
Okay, nice.
I've got other family in Ibiza. So
You fly into Munich or how do you go?
So I haven't before, but I now, having been there 4 or 5 times,
Yeah.
worked out I've been doing it wrong the entire time. And yeah, the Denver non-stop, and then you drive.
Yeah, exactly.
South. I don't
2 hours, an hour and a half.
I've historically, well, I've
You go a little further.
well, I was in Venice for work last summer, so I drove from that. Usually, I've historically gone in and out of Venice.
Okay.
Because it's a nice, easy drive, and then you can stop in Lake Garda on the way.
True.
And there's a beautiful boutique hotel there, family run, Villa Arcadio, which is amazing too. So I've historically gone that way, but yeah, Munich nonstop. I'm like,
It's so good, and the flight time's perfect. It's enough to eat and get sleep versus like an East Coast flight, right? Which is not enough, so it like works perfect.
No, it's perfect.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to do that.
That's the move.
Yeah.
So the show's all about moving forward, innovation, etc., like we talked about. But for a moment, I like to step back into the past, since the past shapes the future. What do you miss about the glamorous and or more glamorous days of travel?
I don't eat on planes anymore. It would be nice if the food was edible. Like growing up in Australia, you got a meal every flight you took, domestic, and it was great. I mean, Qantas, you actually have like a nice meal. Sydney to Melbourne, it's a 50-minute flight and they'd feed you. So I just think, the food, talk about experiential travel, like they're kind of missing that part of the experience, I would say. And then I miss the times when there was no Wi-Fi on planes.
Yeah.
It was the one time, particularly traveling to Australia, that 15-hour flight, I was like, this is amazing. No one knows where I am. I'm untrackable. I have an excuse to, not be on. And so now it's like, there's no.
It's so bad. That's like that's my biggest like fear. When it doesn't work, I feel like I come off, my hair's on fire. I'm looking,
well, now, because I'm exactly the same. Don't get me wrong.
Like when it's broken, I'm like,
you
oh my God.
expect it to be there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I planned my day around this.
Yeah.
But
especially with Starlink, like on the good, like whether you're on Qatar Air or someone that has it actually implemented and you're like, oh my God, it's so fast. And then you get on one of these like older planes and it's like the trickle. And like, you're trying to download a file that's 1.1 meg and you're getting like 1 kilobyte at a time. Then you're like, oh, wait a minute. I got to get to 1,000 to get to,
Yeah, no, I remember being on the flight from California to Australia before we announced the Perisher acquisition.
Yeah.
And it was confidential and I had a rug over my, like I had the blanket over my head so no one could read the press release because I was making edits. And we lost, somewhere over the Pacific Ocean, lost connection for a couple of hours. And the executive team's like, where did you go?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's like, I'm literally over the ocean. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the new expectations.
It is.
It'd be nice if it wasn't.
Yeah, totally. All right. To close, it's future, right? It's innovation. So what innovation in travel doesn't exist today that you think is missing? And it does not have to be technology. Like I always use this reference because I think Jan Arnold, who runs sales for Roccaforte Hotels, had a great answer, which is that the luggage racks are too small.
I know,
which they are. You can't fit a good size international suitcase.
I mean, I do carry on and mine still like falls off it.
Exactly.
Yeah, like flops off the end. Well, I don't know about you, but every hotel I stay at, I cannot find the lights. So I think that it should just, when you try and and then I finally get into my bed and then the ring light is on, the makeup thing that is in the bathroom. And then you move and then another light pops on. Yeah. It's like, it's a nightmare. And I don't know why you can't find any of them. So just even Siri or otherwise, you need to be able to click or just say like, turn the lights off.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so hard.
Yeah.
No one can do it though. Am I wrong?
I experienced it last week in Paris at Cheval Blanc. I'm like pressing every button on the
It's
nightstand.
infuriating.
Nothing was working. And then I like was about to go to sleep. And then the darn light went on that beautiful patio. So I go out there. I'm like, where is this one? You know? Yeah. And so I just have to figure out
It's not intuitive.
Drapes.
It's
No.
never,
No.
in the right.
And as much as
then you can't open the blinds.
No. And then as soon as I just tried to move them, but they were automatic. So then the minute I touched it, it went back. And I'm like, oh, this is just terrible. I went to find my mask from, and it wasn't their fault. It's an amazing hotel, epic hotel, but just so funny that like we cannot get these lights sorted out.
No, I know.
As hard as we try.
Yeah.
I had to go get them.
So much technology in this world, and no one can work out how to turn the lights on and off.
I know. I just remember the
First world problem. Luxury hotels. I don't think you have this issue in like.
No, I think you use a switch when you're in the motel or a hotel.
Yeah.
It's so funny because the first attempt at that was City Center 2008 with the Aria, Mandarin Oriental, and Vidara, and they had implemented Control 4 in all the rooms, right? And it was like nothing but problems. And that was supposed to be the easy solution, right? You have it on the tablet next to the bed, you just turn it all off. It was all brand new. I don't know how many millions and tens of millions of dollars they spent on that implementation, or hundreds of millions of dollars, but it just never functioned. It's just so funny. Like as much as we try, we just can't crack it. We can use AI to build platforms, solutions, everything, but we can get the darn lights to turn off.
Or even just a plug for your phone that's close enough so you don't need a 20-foot
cable. Totally.
Yeah.
Thank you, May.
The good old days.
It's been such a pleasure. The good old days.
Yeah, fun. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for watching this episode of Luxury Travel Innovators. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. See you next time.